Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavirjam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Vidhiyate. So, the author, the way she has written this text, Tattvabodha, she has apparently divided the text into about 4 or 5 parts. I didn't talk about this before. First part is Jiva. Jiva. Jiva means individual. Second part is Ishvaraha. Bhagavan, Ishvaraha. Third part is Jiveshvara Aikyam. Jiveshvara Aikyam. The essential identity between Jiva and Ishvara. Fourth one is Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti. Liberation while living. Liberation while living. Just very unique to Sanatana Dharma. You won't find this anywhere else. In any artificial religion, you will not find it. And there may be these things in native religions only you can find this idea. If at all, if you go look around. So if you go to Papua New Guinea and there are tribes, or if you go to Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which came in the news recently, if you ask them about their views, then you may be surprised. They may say these things. Because for this kind of idea to be there, the people have to have thought through and had a life that connected us with the world and did not look at the world as something to be consumed. So that kind of outlook is needed to come up with this kind of a vision of Jiveshvara Aikyam and Jivan Mukti. Then fifth, I said 5. So fifth, there is a short discussion on karma. Karma. So Jivaha, Ishvaraha, Jiveshvara Aikyam, Jivan Muktihi, Karma. So the author will not give these titles in the text. But if we look at the flow, it appears that you can divide the text into these 5 sections. So we are in this section called Jiva, individual. And just to recap, so sadhana chatushtaya sampannadhikarinam moksha sadhana bhutam Tattvaviveka prakaram vakshyamah. That is how he started, if you remember. She started that. So, first she said, sadhana chatushtaya sampannadhikarinam. So, for the people who have this sampatti called sadhana chatushtayam, like that, she said. And so, she explained what this sadhana chatushtayam is. Vivekam, Vairagyam, Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshutvam. So these are the four typically mentioned in the Shastram, fourfold so-called qualifications. Means the people to whom these books, these texts are meant for. That is what it is. Which is fascinating to me because even in when we go to school or college, in the college when we study some chemistry 201 or mathematics 201, the teacher doesn't start the lecture with saying, who are the people who are qualified to sit in this class? They don't say that. But because the way the courses are numbered and the way we get assigned to all these courses and way we end up in these classes, we're already structured. Okay, I am a freshman, and so these are the classes available to me. Obviously, they won't give me an advanced. I won't be allowed to take an advanced chemistry class or a mathematics class. So in a way, the preparations are all laid out for me. But here it is not that clear because the preparation is all internal. It is all based on the individual. And so, even talking about sadhana chatushtayam is so, when I first heard it, it was so fascinating because it tells so much about the subject matter. Even though sadhana chatushtayam is not the subject. Correct? So, sadhana chatushtayam. Then, Tattvaviveka prakaram vakshyamaha. Tattvavivekam. Then the student asks, what is Tattvaviveka? Then this Nityam Anityam came about. So Brahma Nityam, Tad Vyatiriktam Sarvam Anityam. Like that it was introduced. Time bound versus that which is not time bound. And then now this question of Atma has come up. Because Atma Satyam, I think she said Atma Satyam Tad Anyat Sarvam Mithya. So the student is asking the question, Atma Kaha. That is where we are. And we got introduced to what Satyam is, what Mithya is. And so here the author says, started definition of Atma by telling what Atma is not. So Sthula Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktaha, Panchakoshatitaha, and then Avasthatraya Sakshi, we saw that, the witness of the three states of experience. And Satchidananda Rupa San Yasthishtati Sa Atma. This is what we saw. So, what we studied last class is, we were talking about two things broadly categorized. There are two things in this world. There is I and there is the world which is not I. This is where we introduced that when we discussed and we stopped. I and not I. So the world is generally, we use the word universe, etc. to refer to everything. We don't point to ourselves and say universe. Nobody said that to me yet. Universe. No, I am not the universe. The universe, if you want to see the universe, you look out. Don't look inward. Everything that is there, out there, that you know and that you don't know, is this Jagat, this world. And it's the universe. That is not I. And this is I. And then we also introduced the idea that, hey, how do you say that is the world? Why do you point to all that and say that is the world? Then we said, yeah, I know all these things. Anything that I know is part of the world. Anything that I know is part of the world. It's a huge jump, big jump from saying world to anything that I know is the world. So it's a big jump. And we, having studied pramanas, having studied this prama, pramanam, pramata, etc., we have come to know that knowledge occurs through operating pramanas. Only by operating some pramanam, knowledge occurs, and that automatically divides this whole framework into knower and known. So we comfortably therefore said, everything that is known can be put in the category of the world, category of the not I, category of that which is evident to me. Okay, that which is evident to me, and whatever remains is I. This is the way we are developing this idea. And we said even we gave a pramanam for that. The Kena Upanishad talks about answers. The teacher answers the student's question. Atho viditat sarvam viditat anyat. Viditat anyat. What is other than the known? Aviditat adhi. What is other than the unknown? Unknown, the Upanishad is saying, because what we know is very little. What we don't know, the universe is mostly unknown to us. Just a few things we know, that's all. Therefore, the Upanishad says aviditat adhi. So, if you exclude, you have to exclude all that. If you exclude all that, what remains is I. That is what the Upanishad says. Okay. So now, in this class, we are going to explore this boundary. Boundary between I and not I. Okay. So universally, what do we know when we say I? What does it refer to? I refers to this 5 feet, 6 feet, 3 feet, whatever feet tall body. This body which looks brown, which looks black, which looks fair, which looks white, whatever color it is, depending on which part of the world we are. That entity which is standing in front of you, that entity which is doing things, which is talking, which is the only thing in this world which seems to be able to have a say over so many other things in this world. A living being, conscious being with the ability to create, to do, to destroy even. That entity which is enclosed in this physical body, which starts from the top of the head and goes to the extremities of the body, the toes, and whose boundary stops at this dermis, skin, and beyond that, I am not there. Skin onwards, I. This much is our idea of I. Universal idea of I. Now, if we analyze it a little bit, we find that in my idea of I, this body is there. But in your idea of I, this body is not there. This body is part of your not I. Your not I. Your body is part of your I, but your body is part of my not I. That's a very obvious observation. So now the Shastram is saying, let's extend this boundary. Extend means, you should probably say, let's compress. Should I say compress the boundary? Not extend outwards like this. Take it further down. And so, the Shastram reminds us of what we already know. We know that any object which I know, come to know of, like this book, or like this pen. I say the pen is this. This is a pen, I say. This is a pen. Nobody says, I am the pen. They will say either this is a pen or that is a pen. So these objects, regardless of how far they are and how near they are, I use the word this or that. That planet is Pluto. That is a book. This is my book. Like this we say, this, that. In Sanskrit, the word for this is idam. So the Shastram uses another word for any object in this world. The Shastram says, idam means this, right? Idam. Idam pratyaya vishayaha. Very interesting how they thought through all this and how they expressed it. Idam pratyaya vishayaha. Vishaya means an object. Vishaya also means topic and all that. But here an object. An object which is an object of your thought. An object of your this thought. Any thought to which you will say this or that. That the object corresponding to that thought is part of the world. Idam pratyaya vishaya. That's it. It doesn't worry about what so many things I don't know. You tell the Rishi, hey, I don't know so many things in this world. How am I going to figure out what this world is? He says, don't worry about all that. Whatever you know will be idam pratyaya vishaya. It will be this. Anything to which you will say this, immediately you put it in the bucket called world bucket, not I bucket. Good. So now we can say any object I know, whether it is close to me or away from me, that object cannot have aham pratyaya in it. It is not something in which the I sense is there. No object in this world can have the I sense. So I can't have the I sense in this book. I can't say I am blue in color. I will say the book is blue in color. That's all. Good. So the known object cannot have the I sense. Only the knower has the I sense in it. And so the known object, we said, is separate from the knower. Any known object cannot be the knower. Different ways of saying the same thing. So now I ask this person who says, so I ask this person, do you have a body? Person says, yes, I have a body. How do you say you have a body? Hey, what do you mean, how do you say I have a body? I know I have a body. What more do you want? Did you say, I know I have a body? Yes, I know I have a body. So is body part of the known? This known that we are talking about? This Jagat we talked about so long, so far. We spent so much time talking about it that some people are wondering why Jayakumar ji is repeating this word again and again. So are you saying this body is known to you? Yeah, of course this body is known to me. This is not an unknown thing. I know this very well. In fact, I start the day by looking at my face in the mirror for so long. I know this face. I know all the hair. I know where are my grey hair. Everything I know. I know. I know my eyes. I know this and I know everything. About this body, I know everything. Somebody asked me to give a lecture about this body. Yeah, I can give a lecture. That much I know. Good. So far, so good. So you know this body. Therefore, this body is a known object. So is this body the knower or the known? Then he will say, of course, this body is known to me. And so it's part of the world of known objects. It can't be the known. The body is, in fact, the body is inert. I know the body doesn't know me. I wish the body knows how great of a person I am, but unfortunately the body doesn't know me. At least if the body knows me, there will be somebody close to me who will congratulate me. Shabash bete, like that. Somebody should be there to tell me. But no such thing. The body is simply sitting. Okay, good. So we have now clarified a doubt that, or at least we have demonstrated that this body is a known object. It cannot, it is part of not I. It cannot be part of I. Good. So that's a good start for our discussion. Therefore, we will say, you are not the body. Or we can say, I am not the body because I am the knower of the body. Body is a known object. It is part of the things known to me, even though the body is intimate. Body is intimate. And so now somebody says, Swamiji, Jayakumarji, what are you talking? How can you say I am not the body? Wherever I go, the body comes with me. When I leave the room, the body goes with me. Suppose I say, no, I left the temple 1 hour ago. I left the temple, body left the temple, body exited the temple. I ate when I say the body is eating. So what are you talking? Whenever I say I did this, I did that, the body is involved very much. So the body and I are identical. But so that is not possible, because even though that is there, we have to ask if that is just happens to be so, just the way things are. And yes, you wherever you are, the body is an okay statement. But that's just a casual observation. We need to analyze this further. And so the question here is still reminder that we have to find out, where does the not I start? where does the I end and where does the not I start? So there is some statement, I think they say, your freedom begins where my nose ends. I think they say something. I heard something like that before. Is that correct? Freedom begins where my nose ends, right? So very clear. We are very clear about our boundary. So this is me. This is my area. This is my personal area. So we have seen that the body is not. The body, even though is intimate, even though I say I am short, I am tall, even though I say I am dark, I am fair, even though I say, so I am brunette, I am blonde. These words I learned in America. Brunette and blonde. So based on the color of the hair, look at that. Color of the body is one thing. So there, even more finer distinction is there. Brunette and blonde. Based on just the color of the hair. So I am all these things based on these external features. Then of course, we have seen this before. So the minute later I say, oh, time's up. It's now 7 in the morning and I've been awake for 2 hours. The stomach is growling. So I am hungry. So I am hungry means now I am accepting. Look at this. This is a beautiful thing. When I say I am hungry, now I have taken the I from the body to something internal. From anatomy, we are moving to physiology. Very interesting how we keep moving this I. So right there, I must see that the body is not I. Correct? Body can't be I because I've taken the I away from the body. Just 2 minutes ago, I was tall. Now I am hungry. And you ask the body, hey, body, are you hungry? The body doesn't respond. It is happy being what it is. So, I am hungry means I am now referring to the physiology in the body. I am thirsty. I am sick. I am in pain. Neurology. So, neurosystem is there. So, I is placed on the physiology and other systems in the body. So then we have to point out and say, wait a minute. Then you're saying, I am short-sighted. So now you moved away from hunger. And you're suddenly placing the eye on the eyes. And you're saying, I am short-sighted. So this person comes to me and says, I am blind. Please help me, I am blind. Okay, we will help you. Then I ask him one more question. Hey, what do you mean you're blind? How do you say that? How do you come to that conclusion? Then he says, I see that I am blind. I see that I am blind. I see that I don't see. See, look at the answer. I see that I don't see. I see that I don't see. So what? So you know that you're blind, correct? You know that you don't see. Yes, I know that I don't see. Must be very obvious to you. That is why I'm saying I'm blind. How do I know I'm blind otherwise? Good. Therefore, I am the knower of this eyesight. There is somebody behind this eyesight which seems to know, which is the one who acknowledges that I am blind. But then we have to point out and say, Dekhiye, correct, being blind is not fun. Eyes are so important for us, no doubt. But still, from a perspective from the analysis that we are doing, I am the knower, I am the observer of the eyes which are blind. Otherwise, it's impossible to know that I am blind. Correct? If I am the eyesight, there is no way to know I am blind. Because I am observing the eyesight, I can say that I am blind. Good. So, we've analyzed this before, but we need to kind of bring it back. So, this Indriya Samuha and this whole Shrotram Chakshuhu, Twag means the sense of touch, and Granam, Rasanam, the sense of smell and sense of taste. 5 sense organs. So, a very interesting question comes about. Why 5 sense organs? Why not 4? Or why not 6? You know, they say 6th sense. Yeah, have you heard of that? 6th sense. 6th sense means something extrasensory, something more than the 5th sense you have, somebody has, they say. Because they can seem to know things which an average person cannot know. They seem to know what's going on in some other city, what's going on in your life without you telling me. All that they can figure out. Okay, we don't know. Maybe there was a sense before which we have lost. Over time we have lost. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if there is any research on this. So these 5 senses are enough, and Shastram is saying these Indriyani, you are not the Indriyani. You are not the 5 senses. I am the employer of the 5 senses. Knowing Pramanam, now we can say, I am the one who employs these 5 senses for my benefit. That is how I come to know this entire world. That is how I gain knowledge slowly. That is how I interact with this world. Without my 5 senses, it is hard to interact. It is almost impossible to interact. Good. So now I get a doubt. Then who am I? I have understood I am not the body. I have understood I am not some of the functions in the body. I am now beginning to understand I am not the senses. So therefore I must be the mind. Because that's the next more subtler thing behind the senses. Without the mind, it's not possible. I must be the mind. So, the mind that is why. That means I exist. Every human being has a mind. And the mind is, of course, working. Therefore, I must be the mind. Descartes, a famous French philosopher, René Descartes. So his famous statement is, I think you all know, some of you, I think, therefore I am. That is what he said. I think, therefore I am. So he's saying, I exist because I think. That is a way to rephrase that sentence. So Swamiji, our Swamiji, as usual, he brings up the nice story. So these French people they like coffee very much. So if you go to France, I've been to Paris once, and big coffee. Their lunches are all 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Not this half an hour. These days, IT people, they just bite something, and even while working, in fact, there is no lunchtime for IT people. And lunch and all, there is no lunch. For them, lunch and all is 2.5 hours. You go out and it's all, you have to, the environment, and have a lunch and you talk about your life and you share all the things in this world. Not Vedanta, but other than Vedanta, so many things are there to talk about. And so 2 hours are passing and big lota of coffee is there right next to me. And all that is consumed and we come back to work. Nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. As long as you do your work, it is fine. You can take a lunch of 2.5 hours. That is fine. So this guy says, I think, therefore I am. So this Descartes comes to this restaurant and the waiter asks him, Sir, would you like to have some coffee? Because that's, of course, how can you not have coffee? But I'll check with you anyway. And Descartes says, I don't think so. So then what happened? Descartes vanished. Descartes vanished because I don't think so. I don't think so. He doesn't think. So vanished. So this I don't think, I think therefore I am. Hey, you can be even if you don't think. When you are sleeping, there are no thoughts. And even while awake, it is possible to not have any thoughts. It is possible not to think. So therefore, this I think, therefore I am. Some people have told me that I think this Descartes has changed. He went back. He agreed that the statement is not right. I'm not sure. I think if somebody, one of you can check, I would like to know that. So I think, therefore I am is not possible. So our rishis have analyzed this very well long ago. They have used the word called vritti. Vritti. Vritti means this. Suppose I now show you this object. Does something happen in your mind or not? Something different, correct? Happened in your mind already. Because you were thinking of so many things and you're listening to some words and you're trying to grasp and you recall some things. And suddenly I show an object and now the mind, there is a change of state in the mind. In the mind, there is something called the pen vritti. The pen vritti has taken place in your mind. This is what our Shastram, the Shastric language is like that. Pen vritti has taken place. Vritti is a modification of thought which is commensurate with the object that is being perceived. Okay? A vritti is a state of mind, a modification of the mind which corresponds to the data that is coming in through the sense organs from the outside world. Just two ways of saying the same thing. And something that makes me say, aha, yes, this thing, object I am looking at is a pen. That is called a vritti. So, look at this. Therefore, what I am actually looking at, finally what I am looking at, is what is happening in my mind. Even though I say I am looking at this pen, which is not a wrong statement, but then what this knower is looking at is an image of this object that is there in the mind. Correct? I, the knower, who has the capacity to say I am hungry, I am not looking at hunger. Hunger is something I perceive somehow and I say I am hungry. Correct? And that same I is saying I am sad. That same I is saying, I am looking at the pen, and so many things are happening. It is very obvious that there is something, there is a mind, and what is happening in the mind, I am able to observe. So I am looking at an image of this pen, and the word for the image, of course, we have said it's called vritti. I am looking at the vritti of this pen, and then I am saying, yeah, I have seen this before. I know what this object is. Based on my recollection, this is a pen. This looks like a pen. That much we all know. So therefore, that vritti is what I am looking at. I, the knower, is looking at. And in fact, the Shastram goes as far as saying, you never look at what is outside, even though the data that is generated is from the outside world. You never completely look at it. You only look at what is there in your mind. Correct? Now, we can give an example to demonstrate this thoroughly. I open the door in the morning and suddenly I see a snake outside. Correct? Because I live in a place which is all trees and trees. Open the door, I see a snake. I jump out. I jump. And then this girl, my girl who is sitting right next to me, my daughter says, Dad, that's not a snake. That is the pipe that you kept outside yesterday. Now tell me, did I see the object outside or did I see my vritti inside? Clear? Must be very clear. I saw what is in my head. And I see a snake. I conclude there is a snake. I am very clear there is a snake. That is why I jump. I take it so seriously that I just run away from there. Correct? So, object there is not a snake. There is no snake at all. So, very obvious that I often see. I always see what is there in my mind. What the mind shows me. What the mind projects to me, that is what I finally see and make conclusions from. Correct? Good. So that is why when we, in our interactions, so that is why sometimes we make a mistake. So we look at somebody and say, hey, hello, hello Swapna, or some hello Hem, I say. But then I find out they are not Swapna, they are not Hem, they are somebody else, and they look like that person. So mind projects Hem to me, and I say hello Hem. Very obvious. Even when I don't make that kind of a mistake, this kind of a mistake that I gave you, example, is easily corrected. Somebody has to point out and say, this is not a snake. The person will say, no, sorry, I'm not him. My name is Prabhakar. Then I say, I'm sorry. Over. Mistake is corrected completely. But then there are times when the mistake never gets corrected. In our interactions, in our family, father is there, mother is there, brother is there, sister is there, children are there, grandparents, everybody is there. In any relationship, friend, teacher, student relationship, we all have ideas about each other, correct? I have an idea about my mother. I have an idea about my wife or my husband. Idea is there, correct? How close is my idea about that person to the actual person? There is a person right there who is a combination of so many things that I can't understand even. And now I make judgments based on what is projected in my mind or what I project, correct? So this is a classic example where We really do not know the other person. That is why we must constantly say, we have to be careful. We can't make a judgment. How do you say this? You're always stingy. You're always stingy. Or you're always judging me. So always judging me, always stingy. Hey, if you carefully analyze this, the person is not always stingy. The person is generous when it comes to certain things. So when I make a judgment like that, that's why they say, be careful, don't make a judgment like that. Because I can never be correct making a judgment. Never, impossible. Because there is always an exception. Always there is an exception. Therefore, I can never know the other person completely. So what I know is whatever idea I have collected based on the data relating to that person, and that's all I know. What the person is capable of, I don't know. What the person has done somewhere else, I don't know. So many things I don't know. So, point being, whatever the mind also, so tempting to say I am the mind, but really speaking, every thought that is happening in my mind is also something I observe. Every emotion. I'm so sad. Very saddening it is. I say, I'm sad. So even there, even though that is very sad to say I'm sad, we must point out that sadness is also a vritti. Look at that. It's also a vritti. Why it's a vritti? Because 5 minutes ago I was not sad. I got a phone call with this bad news and now I am sad. So very obvious that the mind was not sad before. Now the mind is sad. I am the observer. I was the observer of the mind that was excited, and I am the observer of the mind that is saying that is now sad. How can the observer be sad? How can the knower be sad? Not possible. Knower cannot be sad. Knower cannot be happy. The knower is the observer of the emotion of sadness. The knower is the observer of the emotion of excitement, agitation. I am not agitated. I am the observer of the mind that is agitated. Now, when we say this, we are not saying that it is wrong to say I am sad. It is wrong to say I am happy. No, we are saying that it can't be taken too literally. That's all we are saying. I'm happy that you got a job. I'm happy that, congratulations, I'm happy you're married. Congratulations, you had a baby, very happy. I pray for you. So all that is perfectly valid. But to what extent we are going to take this literally? If I say I am happy, it won't take any time for me to say I am sad. Correct? I am sad. So that is why victim. It is so easy to become a victim. And we are victims. So this is what our rishis have analyzed. I am still amazed, mind-boggling. They took us all the way up to this point. And they have just said, wait a minute, you can't be sadness, you can't be happiness. You must be other than happiness and sadness. Pakka. Very, very good. So just amazing. Okay. So, I am not the body. I am not the senses. I am not my prana. Prana means what? All this respiratory system, psychological system, physiological system, not psychological, that will come later. So all these systems, we call prana. Nice word they have. Amazing how they found out all these things. I mean, it doesn't require a great thing to find out that, yeah, this breathing is such an important activity in the body. But recognizing it and giving it its due importance. Prana. So, I am not the Sharira. I am not the Prana. I am not Indriyani. I am not Manaha. Correct? It's a great step. Amazing step. This gives us so much relief because it tells me, even though I have a sad emotion, even though this matter creates so much sadness in me, I am the observer of sadness. Therefore, I cannot be, I have to be other than sadness. We don't know yet what I is. We're still discovering. But this, I am the observer of sadness. That gives so much space between me and what's happening in my mind. Correct? So much space is there. It creates. We still need to go some way before we can fully appreciate all this. But this is an important step. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes it clear. He says very clearly in the 13th chapter, he starts the chapter with this statement that idam shariram kaunteya. Some of you may recall, if you know the Bhagavad Gita, if you know to chant, idam shariram kaunteya kshetram ityabhidhiyate. Correct? Yeah. Hey Kaunteya. Hey Kaunteya. Who is Kaunteya? Kaunteya is Arjuna. I had to unmute some of you, otherwise, as I said last time, it's a bit artificial. I feel a little awkward. So, okay, I unmuted a few of you. So Kaunteya, idam shariram Kaunteya. Hey Kaunteya. So who is Kaunteya? Arjuna. Why Kaunteya?
Son of Kunti.
Son of Kunti. Correct. Son of Kunti. So in Sanskrit, a little bit insight I will give you about Sanskrit language. Yeah, so it's obvious. We know it refers to Arjuna, and we know Arjuna's mother is Kunti. Therefore, Kaunteya must refer to Arjuna. But in language, in Sanskrit language, there is a rule which can make you derive from the mother's name. You can derive the name of the son. This is what this is, correct? Kaunteya, Arjuna being the son of Kunti, there is a rule. Grammatically, you can derive the name of the son. The name of the son is not Kaunteya. It is Arjuna only. Correct?
Correct.
Arjuna. People don't call him Kaunteya. His brothers did not call him Kaunteya. But here Krishna is using Kaunteya because, and so this like Gangeya. Who is Gangeya?
Bhishma.
Bhishma is Gangeya because Bhishma is the son of Ganga. Ganga Devi. Gangeya. We can say Draupadeya. Who is Draupadeya?
Oh, yeah. Any of the five.
Yeah. Abhimanyu.
Yeah, Abhimanyu, Draupadeya. Correct. Draupadi's son. Correct. So, just such a little insight. So, all this Aya is not an arbitrary construct. It's a grammatical Sanskrit construct. And you have Kaunteya. Okay. Hey Kaunteya, idam shariram. This body. So we know idam means this. Just a while ago I said idam means this.
Hmm.
So idam shariram, this body which you are looking at right now, kshetramityabhidhiyate. It is called as kshetram. Kshetram means what? Not Kurukshetram, not that kind of kshetram.
Hmm.
Kshetram means field.
Hmm.
Krishna uses the word field. Field means what? Anything that you observe is called a field. So this shariram also is part of the field. The field is huge. This whole universe is a field, kshetram, and this body also is part of that field. You must put it in the field category. Then what about me? Yeah. Etad yo veti tam prahuhu kshetrajna iti tadvidaha. Next sentence, Krishna says. Yeah, what about me means, yeah, those who know this, they say that while this body is kshetram, this person is called kshetrajna. Kshetrajna. The knower of the kshetram. That's a knower of the kshetram. Kshetrajna. Again, another Sanskrit word construct which you might come across. So I can say, hey, who is the knower of this book? Pustakajnaha. I can coin a word. Pustakajnaha. Correct? So this is Lekhani. Lekhanijnaha means the knower of the pen. That's it. You can create your own words from this. So, Kshetrajnaha, knower of the field. So, what we covered today was exploring this boundary between known and knower. Known and knower. Trying to understand this better. And we have now come to a point where we are saying this body is known, part of the known, part of the not I, part of the world. Likewise, even the mind is part of the world. And the mind itself cannot be I. I am not the mind, I am not the senses, I am not the body. This much we have analyzed today. Okay, so we'll conclude. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayanam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobarahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amrutangamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om